Here's a complete script in the format you requested. Sometimes life changes in a single moment when you least expect it. You walk through your own front door thinking everything is the same, only to hear words that turn your entire world upside down. But what if the biggest surprise of your life wasn't a mistake, but the beginning of the family you never believed you deserved? Stay with me, because this story is about hope, unexpected love, and how one act of kindness can quietly change many lives forever. Before we begin, if you enjoy heartwarming stories that remind us kindness still exists, please subscribe to spread kindness, leave a like, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories with people around the world. Marcus had spent the last 8 years raising his little daughter, Ava, completely on his own. Every morning before sunrise, he packed her lunch, braided her hair the best he could, and dropped her off at school before heading to work as an electrician. Life wasn't easy, but Marcus never complained. His daughter was the reason he kept moving forward. After losing his wife to an illness years earlier, Marcus promised himself he would never let bitterness control his heart. Instead, he tried to help others whenever he could, even when he had very little to give. A few months earlier, an old college friend named Emily had reached out after a difficult divorce. She had nowhere to stay while rebuilding her life. Marcus had a spare room, so he offered it to her without expecting anything in return. "Just until you're back on your feet," he had said with a smile. Emily accepted with tears in her eyes. They quickly became good roommates. Emily helped cook dinner when Marcus worked late. She often watched Ava after school, helping with homework and reading bedtime stories. Little by little, laughter returned to the house. Marcus appreciated Emily's kindness, but he never imagined anything beyond friendship. His heart still carried old scars, and he believed some doors were meant to stay closed forever. One Friday afternoon, Marcus finished work early. He picked up flowers because Ava had won an award at school. As he walked toward the house, he noticed several cars parked outside. Maybe Emily invited some friends over, he thought. He unlocked the front door and stepped inside. The living room was filled with smiling faces. Ava ran toward him, grinning from ear to ear. "Daddy, you're finally here." Before Marcus could ask what was happening, Emily walked into the room wearing a beautiful blue dress. She smiled warmly and faced everyone. "There he is," she said proudly. "I'd like you all to meet my future husband." The room erupted into applause. Marcus froze. He looked around, convinced another man had walked in behind him. Emily laughed softly. "I'm talking about you." His eyes grew wide. "What?" Emily stepped closer. "I know we never planned this," she said. "But over these past months, I've watched you love your daughter, help strangers, and treat everyone with respect. You don't even realize how extraordinary you are." Marcus could barely speak. Emily continued. "I asked everyone here because I wanted the people who love us to witness something important." She reached into her purse and pulled out a small box. Inside wasn't an expensive ring. It was a simple silver key. "The key to my new apartment," she explained. "I was supposed to move out next week." Marcus nodded quietly. "But then I realized," she continued, "every place I've lived before felt like a house. This place feels like home." Tears filled Ava's eyes. Emily knelt beside her. "Ava, would it be okay if I stayed forever?" The little girl threw her arms around Emily. "I've been wishing you'd ask." Several guests quietly wiped away tears. Marcus looked down, overwhelmed by emotions he hadn't allowed himself to feel in years. "I don't know what to say," he whispered. Emily smiled. "You don't have to answer today." The room became silent. Marcus took a deep breath. "When my wife passed away," he said softly, "I promised myself I would never risk losing someone again." Emily gently held his hand. "I know. I thought protecting my heart was protecting my daughter." Emily shook her head. "You've already shown Ava what kindness looks like. Now let her see what love looks like." Those words settled deep inside Marcus. Over the following week, they spent hours talking after Ava went to bed. They shared stories about their fears, dreams, mistakes, and hopes. Marcus admitted he had been lonely for years. Emily confessed she had almost given up believing good people still existed after her painful marriage ended. Neither of them rushed anything. Instead, they built something stronger than excitement. They built trust. One afternoon, Marcus noticed an elderly neighbor struggling to carry groceries. Without hesitation, he ran over to help. Emily watched from the porch. "You do that every time," she smiled. Marcus shrugged. My mom used to say kindness costs nothing. Emily answered softly. Actually, it changes everything. Months passed. The small house became warmer than ever. Sunday mornings were filled with pancakes. Movie nights became a family tradition. Ava laughed more than Marcus had heard in years. One evening, Marcus finally opened the little box Emily had given him. He looked at the silver key. Then he quietly placed it back into her hand. I don't need your apartment key, he said. Emily looked confused. Marcus smiled. Because I don't want you living somewhere else. He reached into his pocket. This time, he held a small velvet ring box. I spent months thinking I wasn't ready. Emily covered her mouth. But every day you reminded me that healing isn't about forgetting the past. He slowly opened the box. It's about making room for joy again. Inside was a simple engagement ring. Emily burst into tears. So, Marcus laughed nervously. Would you do me the honor of becoming my wife? She didn't answer with words. She wrapped her arms around him. Ava jumped between them, laughing. I knew it, she shouted. A year later, friends and neighbors gathered in the same living room where everything had begun. Only this time, everyone celebrated a wedding instead of a surprise announcement. Marcus looked around the room. People from every chapter of their lives stood together, smiling. Some had once been strangers. Others had been neighbors Marcus had helped without expecting anything back. They all came because kindness has a way of connecting hearts long before we realize it. As Marcus held Emily's hand, he understood something he wished he had learned years earlier. Kindness is never wasted. Every encouraging word, every helping hand, every sacrifice made with love plants a seed that grows in ways we cannot predict. Sometimes it returns as friendship. Sometimes it returns as hope. And sometimes, when you least expect it, it returns as the family you thought you had lost forever. If this story touched your heart, remember that even the smallest act of kindness can become the beginning of someone else's miracle. Keep believing in people, keep choosing compassion, and keep spreading kindness wherever life takes you. Because the love you give today may become the blessing that changes your life tomorrow.